Morning. So excited to be able to share with you today and just open my heart and life to what I believe God's been teaching me about some of the issues that are related to just recovery. And yeah, today, as you see in the chat, I want to talk about what to do when your wife is triggered. Very practical thing. And almost every week, working with at least one couple, uh, someone someone is going, oh, come on, what are you doing that for? You're making it worse. You're by reacting the way you are when she's triggered, you're actually pushing her away. You're not endearing yourself to her. And so my prayer is that this particular talk would help a lot of you get it figured out as to how to best handle it when your spouse is triggered, when they're reminded of something. And so it's pretty thorough, what I have to share today. So I want to jump right in and go there. By definition, being triggered means some sort of stimulus, an action, a sound, a smell, a situation, a place, words that you use, a look that you give, some kind of object they see, even a scene in a movie, an attitude you have, a gesture like quickly putting your phone away or something. Almost anything can initiate, set off, or release an intense, emotional, and usually negative reaction in the heart and mind of your spouse. So that's triggered. There's this connection back to the hurt that they've experienced, and for them, it's almost like they're experiencing it again. So let's look a little more detailed about this definition. Whatever triggers her, reminds her, or is closely associated with some connection to the horrific pain she's experienced due to your lies, your betrayal, your unfaithfulness. This traumatic response is not crazy. On the contrary, it makes sense, connecting it to what she is going through because of you. Maybe one of the easiest, clearest examples of being triggered is when someone has been in a car accident and was traumatic. They might have got injured, they may have not, but when they've been through a car accident, it's not uncommon for them to sit in the car and have their hand on the handle, like, do I have to get out of here quick? Because maybe you were trapped upside down and they couldn't get out, right? And so they carry a lot of fears related to that, because just sitting in a car triggers them. You see what I'm saying? And so it's not crazy. It's quite normal. It's called partner betrayal trauma, for the reason partner, obviously, betrayal, they've been betrayed, and the trauma they carry. And it can affect your spouse physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, can help them, affect them in so many different ways. And it is real pain. They might even have a physiological reaction to it, but it's excruciating, it's pervasive. They can be overwhelmed, stressed, panicked, angry, broken, crushed, as the trigger links her directly to some aspect of her deep hurt of the past. She could then lash out, pull away, cry, scream, go silent, get critical, judgmental, say really hurtful things, or simply want to give up on you and any possible recovery process. A lot of times they just want space. They just want to pull away. So the key thing is that during a time when you're supposed to triggered, the key thing is that you take responsibility. It's all on you. Without your selfish behavior in the first place, your spouse would not have any triggers. So your actions cause this. So you need to admit it. Don't explain, minimize, or justify. Just start with admitting it, fully owning it. Don't blame her. Show great empathy, patience, compassion through these triggers. And we got more details. I spent a lot of time explaining, how to best handle the triggers later in the talk today. Why why often the person who caused the hurt in the first place doesn't take responsibility. When I'm working with couples and I see a partner, who doesn't take responsibility, a man who doesn't own his stuff when a wife is triggered and all that. I see these kind of things, and this list is not an exclusive list. This isn't all there is. There could be more, but these are the three that, let's just say, I've seen in the last month. I've seen all three of these, and so may this be at least directionally helpful of why you might not take responsibility when your spouse is triggered. One, you're immature. Your childish reactions to her pain only push her way more. You need to take her pain like a man, as it were. It is your fault, but in your immaturity, and we've talked a lot about emotional adolescence, but in your immaturity, you just so easily can make it about you and per you and everything, right? And that's another one that's coming. Number two, really selfishness. You want her to get over it. You're like, hello, how long is this going to take? I thought you're supposed to forgive me. The Bible says you're supposed to forgive, right? Well, that whole blaming her, you deflect, you dismiss, you distort the truth. You actually make it hurt worse. It's almost like you're being mean when well, why don't you get over this, for crying out loud? I apologized 3 weeks ago, and here you are stuck on this. What's your problem? So selfish. And then egocentric. You don't look at life through her eyes. You look at her response only through your own eyes. You make it about your pain. Boy, I tell you what, I've had women just light it up when they're sharing their hurt because of being triggered, and their partner goes into, well, I'm going through a lot of pain too, like this isn't easy for me either. You make it sound like, I should be able to just get through this, but they make it all about them. They just, egocentric means, self-centered. And yeah, and so if your pain trumps theirs, yeah. So this is why most of the time you're not taking responsibility when your spouse is triggered. And I was thinking, as I just flashed through who's on this call, some of you, this is behind you, and I'm grateful. But this is a really good talk to help other men with, because you will hear men say and do things, something like why they're not taking responsibility. And it's your job as a good brother, as a wingman, as a spiritual accountability partner. It's your job to say, whoa, 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 whoa. It sounds like to me that you're deflecting. It sounds like to me that you're dismissing her pain. It sounds like to me you're blaming her. And yeah, and then you can refer them back to this talk, and they can fight it out with me on the video. But yeah, so the initial takeaway that I think would be important for you to have, if you're going to handle triggers well when your spouse is triggered, it's all about letting Jesus humble you. You see, as a matter of fact, I was working through this talk, and it's about humility, about humbling yourself. It's not about shame. Matter of fact, when I said that, I think I gotta explain to men one day the difference between shame and humility. You see, shame is where, in a sense of self-blame and regret and almost embarrassment, I shut down, I pull away, I get absorbed in my pain and my life embarrassment. And so it could come across as not saying anything, but humility, when I choose to be humble, it's I own my stuff. I let go of the need to be proud and defend myself, and When Jesus humbles me, doesn't mean weakness. Humility means an attitude of owning your stuff, being gracious to other people, and moving forward with your own commitment to grow, to stay in your lane, and to humble yourself and do what you need to be doing, and don't spend a lot of time at pointing around to other people what they need to be doing. This beautiful verse related to when your spouse is triggered, this helps. Whoever conceals his sin doesn't prosper. So you've either admitted it or you've been caught, and understand that if you try to conceal it or bury it or say it's all over, it's in the past, when for them it's still in the present because of triggers, you're not going to prosper if you try to deny the past. You got to work through the past and get freedom from the past, but don't deny the past or downplay the past. But the one who confesses and renounces, who owns it, and they find mercy from the Lord. They find mercy from their spouse, because there's a clear sense to which you're still operating in humility. I know, honey, I blew it. I'm really, really sorry. And sometimes it's a matter of tone than the right words that are said. But humility is the way of recovery. And so now I want to give you just some real practical things that you can do when your spouse is triggered. When your spouse is triggered, and this is pretty thorough. But again, if you're in a position where your spouse is reacting to you out of her pain because something brings back a memory of previous hurts that you caused, this is the way to go. This is the way to go. So responding to her triggers, number one, has to be about her. Don't try to question them, explain them away. Even you're going to be confused sometimes about the parent connection between this trigger and your behavior, but don't go there. Don't show any form of, oh brother, here we go again, exasperation, right? When you do, this is full on selfishness. Any of these things, your response is all about you. Make it about her. Make it about your spouse. Be patient. Impatience is all about you again. Yes, it hurts when she's triggered. It brings up your guilt and your shame again. But if you resolved it before the Lord and before her, if you owned it, then just simply walk humbly. I know you don't want to go back there again. Who does? But in your case, guys, be a man. Carry her pain with her. It's pain you cause. So working through triggers is part of your journey. It's part of her journey, and you got to accept that. Patiently help carry the burden that you gave her. So it's like, let's just say your carelessness caused your spouse to have a break in their leg, and they got a cast and they're in crutches. Well, what you're doing is not going, oh, for crying out loud, quit your limping around. Like it happened a while ago. It's not that. It's more about, hey, what can I do to help? Here, let me get that for you. Let me help you with that. How can I help you get up and down these stairs easier? And so number 3, listen, don't talk. Focus on her hurt and her broken heart. Let her share how she's feeling, what triggered her. Let her finish her story. She'll get angry at times. Sometimes she'll really lose it on you. It won't feel good, granted, but don't interrupt. Don't fix. Certainly don't fight back, get angry back. I don't like how you're treating me. I don't like. You think she liked how you were treating her. Simply take it, listen to her pain, validate her feelings, validate the response to the trigger. Empathy. Empathy is hard to develop when your life has been all about you. Your selfish behavior and your past, your selfishness doesn't empathize well. Most people struggling with sexual addiction are really lousy at empathizing. Empathizing means looking at it from the other person's perspective. And so you're going to have to keep growing up. Empathy is looking at life through her eyes. It's identifying the connection between your actions and her pain, validating her hurt, and showing ongoing compassion to her. That's what empathy is. And make sure that you, number 5, own the central place that you've played in her hurt. Own it as often as necessary. Try owning it for as long as you were acting out. So if you've been acting out for 2 years, then just own it. Own it. After 2 years, you might be able to say, you know, honey, I think we need to talk through how we can help you get past this pain. I know I've caused a lot of pain, but I said 2 years. I didn't say 2 months. Actually, speak out your owning. I'm really sorry. My selfishness caused all this. It's my fault. I'm so sorry. Don't say more. Own it and let her rant if necessary. Don't you go defensive. Number 6, apologize genuinely and repeatedly with a soft heart. When she starts to go off, it's simply, I'm so sorry. It's on me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't ask her, you know, when are you going to forgive me? Or please forgive me. Please forgive me. Can't you let it go? No. When she's in pain, this is not the time for you to, because when you're pushing for forgiveness, it's all about you. It's all about your agenda. And we can't make it about that. She's not ready. That may come in time. It may be in months that she can forgive you. Maybe. Number 7, don't give her tone, you know, with the rolling of the eyes, or don't show exasperation, no condescending, no cutting her off, no explaining it away, any kind of, whether it's verbal or a tone, you'll have a really hard time not making this moment about you. That's your addiction trying to avoid pain. Man up, take it serious, own the pain you've caused her, and just carry it. And you've got to be careful that you don't give in, number 8, to the poor me. Don't talk about, well, how this is hurting you, you know, like this hurts me, you know, when she's triggered and lashes out, you know, never say stuff like, you know, what makes me feel when you talk like this, you know, you make me feel, you know, even more ashamed. I don't want to think about that again. Don't bring that up anymore. Okay. That's the poor me. I know you're hurting. Talk to someone else about it. Talk to an accountability partner about your pain. But you got to grow up. Your pain doesn't deserve to be in the same conversation. Show lots of understanding, patience, and support over and over and over and over again. Number 9, no defensiveness. Certainly don't raise your voice at her. And for sure, stop all anger toward her. No, get over it, or how much longer do I have to put up with this? No backlash when she's triggered. You say, well, who in heaven's name would do that to a wife who they've caused hurt for? Shall I list the people in the last, I just thought of 3 in the last 3 weeks who reacted just like this, being defensive and blaming and come on, get over it. Like, golly, I've owned it. You know, I might even done a polygraph, and now I'll do all this stuff. You know, it's never good enough for you. And golly, smack in the head. Number 10, validate her pain. Appreciate her trauma recovery journey. Yeah. And by the way, it's not saying, I understand your hurt. No, I don't understand your hurt. I can't imagine how much my acting out hurt you. Just seek to understand. You know, your partner didn't bring this on you guys. You did. Seek to care for their heart. Listen. I'm sorry. Talk to me. Where's it hurting today? And just listen. The best thing to do is to comfort them when they're ready. And you got to understand when they're ready. Like, if your spouse needs space, give them space. If they need a hug, give them a hug. But don't push your care on her. Like, you know, if you try really hard to love her when she's reacting like this and she doesn't want that, then you go this. Watch this. Here's a selfish man. Oh, for crying out loud, I never know what to do. Here, I tried to give you a hug and support you, and you pushed me away. What do you want me to do? Okay, yeah. That's not comfort. That's selfishness again. Number 12, give her space. She may need to be alone. She may need alone time. She may need to leave you for a while. She may even ask you to leave. Grant her what she needs. Just seeing you may be a trigger. Be okay with being alone while you recover for a while. Also be okay with her understandable rejection of you. This will hurt, but she's rejecting what you've done to her. And what you did and who you are so closely linked that it's really hard to separate what you did from who you are. And so you need to give her space. Yeah, and you got to be understandable of her rejection of you. It'll hurt. Carry it well. Number 13, ask genuinely with a humble heart, what do you need from me? I'm really sorry. What do you need from me today? What do you need from me? Let her rant. I don't know, whatever. But listen, do what you can to show you're listening. Do what you can to lighten her load. But first, ask her if it's okay. Is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do that? Always move with her permission, your spouse's permission. Number 14, recommit your life to God. Ask him to change you. Confess your mess to him, seek his forgiveness, and then pray for your spouse that God would give them what they need in their recovery from your addiction, what you've caused. Ask God for another chance with your spouse, and then live like you will be your own answer to prayer. Caution on saying, well, I'll pray for you. No, because it sounds like you go from being the one who hurt her to the one who's Mr., spiritual, whatever. Don't come across so holy after the pain you've caused. Yes, pray for her genuinely and pray for her privately. And when she's ready, maybe pray with her. And that would be all right as well. Love her by dealing with your own stuff. Focus on your goal of a transformed and pure life. Remember, we talk about staying in your lane. That means doing everything you can to deal with the stuff. That's your greatest gift to her. Love your spouse by nailing your recovery. Work hard to deal with your own triggers to your addiction. What kind of sets you off and draws you in. Do your work faithfully for at least 12 months. Finish the program. Love her by making genuine changes. Boys make excuses, men make changes. Don't just manage your image and try to look better. Actually deal with your stuff. Don't be a pretender. Do your work. And what I found is the material that I just shared with you is what is really going to help you regain ground with your spouse. When they're triggered, there's the direction of what you can do. And my prayer is that you would mature, that you'd be more selfless, that you'd learn to empathize, and that you over and over again would own the pain when they're triggered, own the pain that you've caused them, own your mistakes, and humbly give them room to grieve. May that be an encouragement to you as we become the people God wants us to be in this journey.